This is Peace of Mind Sports Podcast. Presented by UnoFam and the Overs Club for your best bet. Now here's your hosts, Mark, Max, and Peace of Mind Sports Podcast coming to you live week 8 of the NFL season. We are your hosts, Mark, Max, and Marley.
Hello.
We have a special guest with us today joining the show as our guest picker. We welcome Liv to the show. How you doing, Liv? Max in the house. What's up, Max? Morning, everybody.
Yo, what's going on?
Week 8 of the NFL season. Liv, I'm going to introduce you to the show just so everybody can kind of get to know you quickly before we start the show. I hear you are a Denver Broncos fan, correct?
Correct.
And what is your background with the NFL? Just go ahead and just give us a couple of details about your ties with the NFL.
Yeah, so I do fantasy football weekly. I'm in a bunch of different groups and we just kind of talk about games, and I have a lot of family members who have played for different teams. My cousin Aaron Rodgers, his dad is my uncle, which is super chill. So I kind of got involved that way, as well as my grandpa is in the movie Rudy. We're a big Notre Dame fan. A lot of our family attended Notre Dame. And then I was also helping the Denver Broncos with more security front, which gave me the ability to get more involved in sports and meeting different people. And now here I am doing this and getting more involved, and I love watching sports. So
Let's go.
what else more can you ask?
You joined the right show for that. Because you like to, especially when it comes to the NFL, you like to dive in and discuss.
Aaron Rodgers is my cousin thing, just like right up with Taylor.
No, I was getting to that. So Aaron Rodgers, one of the highest profile athletes in the NFL, is your cousin. Like that. Like
Yes.
how do you handle that as like the family member of somebody with such a high like popularity in a sport? Like I've never had somebody,
Nope.
be a professional sports athlete. I don't know anybody in my friend circle, at least, that has somebody with that high of a profile. So like, I just want to hear from you, like how that feels to have somebody.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really think of it as much just because, oh, haha, that's my cousin, like that's cool. From other people's perspective, like that's a pretty big deal. I don't want to say dilly down it, but it's just kind of like, okay, like that's my family member. Like I'm proud, like I love that. I'm full, respect and support for him. Um, but I mean, it's great. I love being able to talk about his background and being able to share like good memories, and being able to have that person that represents your family out on the field day in and day out. And
That's
I
a
know
great
it's
answer.
it's great to like have something to get you into a sport that other people are so passionate about, that you can kind of get, that firsthand experience and hearing all those stories and asking questions and being able to meet those bigger people. I feel like is super important to not only being a sports fan, but also learning more about, how you can get involved and like being able to just have your name out there.
That's great. That's fantastic. I love absolutely hearing that you just have like full support, and like it's just a part of your everyday life, and
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Max,
Max, I know you're dying over there, bro.
do you have any questions before we Start the
Like
show.
Max is like, "What's Christmas dinner with Aaron Rodgers like?" With
No, I was just gonna say, that that's pretty cool to have, a family member, that made it to, popularity and, stardom like that, and to be as elite as he is in his respective industry. He's not just a quarterback or just another player that made the NFL. I mean, he's a future, first round, first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. Um,
Absolutely.
but I will say, that is kind of hilarious though. That your his dad is your uncle, which means, I mean, that's kind of close blood ties there. So like, I did want to say, like, so what, like, did how was Thanksgiving like when y'all were like younger and everything, like before like the Packers and the NFL and everything like that? Because I'm assuming, right, like, obviously him traveling, playing football and everything is hard to make everything, playing on Thanksgiving and everything like that. But before all that, right, like I'm assuming, y'all probably he attended some gatherings.
Yeah, I remember it's a really good question. I remember when we were, I think it might have been 4 or 5. He was there. I didn't really know, that he was a big old football player. So I kind of thought him just, oh, cool, that's my cousin. All right, haha, hee hee. Like that's great. Like, obviously I was younger, so I was kind of still figuring out
Mhm.
who he was and what he did. And I've learned, throughout my life asking my dad, like, questions about him and like being able to hear those experiences I had with him. We were supposedly up in Russian River years ago, camping with our dad and my brother. I come from a bigger family, so we have a bigger, fuller background, which is great. But I was told a lot of, family trip stories and kind of learning about like, what we've done together. And so that was the year that I got told that he was a big football player. And I never really like, got into talking to him more about like his experiences. But now that I've learned, what he's done, I've gotten more involved into um, football and sports in itself. I feel like there's also this, shift of, okay, is he really, a lot of players like, oh, like, ew, you go for the Green Bay Packers, like, oh my God, like, you suck. And I really don't like that. And the only reason why I don't is because, hey man, I have a cousin on the Green Bay Packers. Like, let's not I get you might not like that team, but at the same time, like let's just I don't know, let's have respect for one another. Absolutely, talking that crap to me, I'm gonna kinda run your mouth, whatever you gotta do, absolutely, that's fine. You have your own views. But it all goes back to the whole family and, having those bonds and, getting to know each other on a deeper level. I remember one year we were, I think in Nashville, that
Mhm.
we were having dinner at our uncle's house, when he was there for a little bit. And that was a year that I really was able to get close to him. And looking back, I haven't seen Aaron in a couple of years, but super grateful for all the memories that I've had and, as a young kid growing up with, family who is more popular and, having that experience to be able to talk about it, is definitely something to be proud about. And I don't know, I just
Love
I
that.
mean, it's great. A lot of great memories and, being able to grow up around people who have had that huge experience, I find really meaningful and being able to, catch up with him every couple of years and being like, dude, I'm watching you from the back end, like I'm throwing your name out there to different people. Like I'm building those connections and being able to, get more involved. And I see myself, you know, going down into football years from now and being a sports commentator or doing something because he was that front end of what is getting me to where I am now.
It'd be nice too, like with retirement, inevitable. Maybe you'll be able to get some more of that family time after and be able to hear, some stories throughout his career and everything, and that would just be like a full circle moment to kind of get together with
Most
him
definitely.
now that you're older. I think that's a wonderful thing. So I appreciate you
Yeah,
taking the time to share all that with us.
You said your
absolutely.
grandpa and Rudy?
Yeah, so all right, funny story. So my mom is an alum of Notre Dame, and so I'm not a big movie person. I just don't watch movies. I watch sports. That's just who I am. And I remember, I think it was 2 Christmases ago, all the cousins, all the nephews, all of the kids sat in our TV room in our grandparents' house, and I think we were kind of still too young to understand, like, oh, our grandpa, like, was in this. And now that I'm like old enough to understand and like, be able to have those ties and the access to, again, football and family, we all watched him. And, my mom pointed out, like, do you know that your grandpa is in this scene? And so every single time that I tell people that, they're like, there's no way, bro. Like, you're pulling, that's Cap, dude. Like, there's no way your grandpa is in Rudy. I'm like, yeah, like I can tell you his name. I can tell you what, part of the film that he's in. And so it's again, it's all family ties and, being
Yeah.
able to have that comfort and I don't know, just all around we love football. We're a big football fan bam and it's great.
Side
What's his
question.
name and what scene is he in?
Sandy Bonvecchio, and he's in the very last scene where the quarterback throws the football, he catches it for the touchdown. It's in I think about the last 15 minutes
Okay.
of the movie.
Been a while
Nice.
since I've seen that one, so I'm gonna have to go back and maybe I'll take a
Yeah.
look and see what I can
I
point
think
out.
Max talked about liking that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I think he was
It's a great
offsides.
movie.
Any of you guys have like a family member or anybody that you know that started in a movie? Because I do.
No, but
No?
I've been like an
No.
extra and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got caught in the scene of like I don't know if they put the scene in that I was in a what's that Jean Claude Van Damme the movie he filmed in Pittsburgh. They had
Okay.
an extras casting because they filmed part of the game at a Penguins game.
Okay.
Were part of the movie, they filmed it at, like it was supposed to be a Penguins game, but it wasn't. It was just a bunch of amateur idiots running around on a hockey rink, just slapping a puck around. So yeah, that's what that was. But he kind of came up like right behind me, like literally like right behind. I was sitting in the last row of the seats at the top, like where you'd walk into the concourse.
Yeah.
And he came up like right behind me and like did some kind of like look over my shoulder type thing. And we were told like not to look back and stuff like that because but yeah, it was kind of cool. But other than that, no.
I wish I could remember her name because it's not going to sound as legit as your guys' stories is. But my cousin's cousin, so it still counts. It is somebody that I've met and somebody that I know. I've only met her like maybe like once or twice, so I don't remember her name. I apologize. But Marley's gonna know this one. A Christmas Story. I don't know if I've told you this. The scene where it's a short scene. It's dark outside. I don't exactly remember which scene it goes to next, but there's a lady walking her German Shepherd down the street. That was my cousin's cousin and her dog. They just happened to, she was out walking. They asked if they could, shoot this scene real quick with her. And she said yes. And they did the thing and she went on with her day. They paid her a couple bucks for it too. So that was nice. But
Nice.
That's my one tie to a movie that I have that was filmed in Cleveland.
My ex-wife, it's like a family story because her grandfather's name is Liotta. So it's like they all say that like Ray Liotta is like a distant cousin of theirs.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. This motherfucker ain't never been at Christmas dinner. Don't
Appreciate
tell me that
everybody
shit.
for sharing those stories. Let's move on and get to the NFL game, shall we?
Yeah, man.
We are coming off of a big week. I'm actually excited to have Liv on the show so we can kind of stunt our game picks from last week. Updated pick standings. Last week, Max 10-4. Good job.
Not bad.
Marley 12-2. Let's go. And I went 13-1. Yeah, the Thursday night game, the Steelers versus Bengals. I was thinking Bengals all day. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stick it to Marley. I hope the Bengals win. I'm gonna say, you know what? Bengals are gonna win. And then I'm like, I guess I'll take the Steelers. And then the Bengals ended up winning.
In a bullshit 2-point game. I stayed up all that time again, and now I got to stay up this week too, all late and shit. The last one was the worst because it was on a Thursday. Like, y'all can't do this to your fans. You cannot make us stay up till 11:30 at night to lose to a last-minute field goal to the fucking Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, this shit is not allowed. That team is trash. But of course, Joe Flacco comes in with that old man arm. It was the Gray Bush Bowl over there on Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. Defense of ours, not up to par. Getting run through all day. Letting freaking. There's a reason why Jamar Chase won a triple crown last year. Triple clown as well. Fucking asshole. But anyways, out here just running loose on the team, running loose on the field. It was just nuts. Like, don't even bother covering his ass because you couldn't anyway. None of our, and it's like, if you ain't gonna stop them, you have to score more points than the Bengals. It's that simple because you're not gonna be able to stop them. They're not gonna be able to stop you. It's just an ongoing process the entire game. They score 31, you got to score like 33, 35. They score 42, you better score 44. That's just how it goes. That's how they lose or win every damn game. And it just goes to show Aaron Rodgers, he should have threw that ball to the sideline instead of the inside and let that safety grab a hold of that. And then the one from DK, get stronger, buddy. You better hit the weight room, son. You let him jack that ball right out your arms. You were squeezing that shit like a baby. And then he just said, that's mine. And I'm like, and so that was going to go against Aaron. But damn it, man, those were right there. Those two possessions. You cannot let the Bengals get those extra possessions on you because that's what will win them the damn game. And that was exactly what happened.
Max, that was the most Booger McFarland take I've ever heard in my life. In order to beat the Bengals, you got to score more points than the Bengals. and I think that Mike Tomlin was a little bit too distracted by Joe Flacco rather than making a game plan to beat the Bengals. So that was just my take on it.
Stupid, bro.
Stupid. We have 6 teams on a bye week this week. The 2-5 Cardinals, 4-3 Jags, 5-2 Lions, 2-5 Raiders, 5-2 Rams, and 5-2 Seahawks. Couple things to go through before we start our game picks. There's no international game today for the first time in a few weeks.
They're done. No more international games this year. Over. That shit needs to end. I'm sick of watching football at 9:30 in the fucking morning. Liv.
Yes.
How is that for the West Coast, by the way? We're curious on that. Do you watch those games?
That's a bit early.
Not really, to be honest with you. I only watch as far as Broncos goes, and then I only watch the night kind of games. It's kind of hard with the timing and with me being at school and work, so I don't really have the ability to do so.
Gotcha. Good question.
But I do stream. I always have something on ESPN Plus on the background when I'm working or in class or whatever, but I don't have time to lock in and, chow back a bunch of food and, kick it back. But that's my time of night to, to get that show on the road.
Gotcha.
Also, Liv, one thing I forgot to mention in the pre-show. So when we're making our game picks, either hold it until the end or hold it for when that game is ready to be picked. We do a lock of the week, which is like pretty much your guaranteed pick that you think will win that week. We have standings that we keep track of. I'm also in the ESPN Eliminator Challenge pool where you can only pick the one team once throughout the season, then you can't pick them again. So I am currently 7-0 in that. Marley 3-4, Max 5-2.
Terrible.
There's only 3 road favorites this week, so a lot of home favorites. But I feel like this week's going to shake up a couple things as we get tighter into the NFL season. Let's make some game picks.
Let's get it.
Starting with the 4-2 Buffalo Bills coming off their bye week, 7.5-point favorites on the road, taking on the 4-3 Carolina Panthers over under 46.5. Marley.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Josh Allen and them coming off a bye week. they're going to get a little rested. I think they get some of their guys back. So I'm going to take the Bills, even though they're traveling.
I think this is a get right game for the Bills. Yeah, coming off the bye, they kind of stumbled a couple losses in a row. They're actually not leading the division right now. The New England Patriots leading the division. They also have the tiebreaker over the Bills right now. But I think this is a get right game for the Bills. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than everybody thinks, but I still think they cover the 7.5. I'm taking the Bills too. Liv.
Oh, that's a little bit of a hard one. I think I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one.
Max.
Yeah, it as much fun as it would be to take the Panthers, right? I mean, and when you look at them, I mean, they've won 4 out of their last 5 games.
They
Now,
have.
granted,
That doesn't
the
mean
last
anything,
3,
though.
granted, the last 3, wasn't against the best teams. The Jets, obviously, Miami being one of those as well. They did beat Dallas, but we know how bad Dallas's defense is, right? So that's basically just an offensive shootout.
Right.
But still, that's not a bad victory.
Panthers
They
also starting Andy
they
Dalton
lost to
today.
New England pretty bad, but then they smoked Atlanta couple weeks ago, shut them
Yeah,
out.
right.
I just like you said though, you have the Bills coming off the bye. I do think overall the Bills are the better team, so I am going to take them here on the road. But I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina makes this a game for a majority of this game.
Absolutely. 0-7 New York Football Jets on the road taking on the 3-4 Bengals. Look out. Here come them Bengals, favored 6.5 points. 44.5 is the over under. Max.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. The Jets are gonna start Justin Fields. I mean,
They are.
we've seen him this year. He's not having a great time passing the football. It's just he's not moving the offense. I mean, the whole team just isn't doing anything good. I mean, in all phases, special teams, offense, defense, honestly, coaching as well. But I mean, I'm gonna take the Bengals, dude. And the reason is because I mean, Joe Flacco freaking balled last week, bro. I mean, they got Justin, excuse me, they've got Jamar Chase and T Higgins, man. They've got a really good core of receivers out there that he can just throw the ball to, bro. That's all he's got to do is just fucking put the ball in their chest and let them make plays. And is it crazy to say that the Bengals, even as bad as they are, no Joe Burrow, all that, could mess around and be 500 and second in the division?
That's something we'll have to definitely keep an eye out for. I'm also very curious. This is going to be saved for later, but when Burrow comes back, obviously they're going to start him over Flacco. But what position they're going to be? He might not even come back until if they were to make the playoffs, basically, or like one of the last few weeks.
Yeah. So. I think the last I saw it was like best case was like the last week or right before the last week of the regular season or playoffs if they happen to make the playoffs.
I'm taking the Bengals in a slot fest. I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole. 6.5 is they like the Jets at plus 6.5 at -118. So there's something a little funny going on, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. The over under has already gone down since last night when I was doing the over under is down to 44.5 now. So there's some weird things going on with this game. I think the Jets are capable of winning a game, but until they do, I'm going to pick against them. I'm taking the Bengals. Liv.
Oh, I'm taking the Bengals. No doubt about it.
Marley, Bengals.
Yeah.
Okay. It took me. I didn't just go out and pick the Bengals.
I was gonna fuck around and take the Jets just because, like, the week you don't pick them because they're 0-7, they're gonna win a game. Yep. But like Max said, and like I said before, when they traded for Flacco, and they were playing Green Bay, and Max was like, they ain't gonna beat us. If Flacco would have played like he did against us against Green Bay, all game instead of just in the second half, he'd have beat the shit out of y'all. So yeah, I think Joe Flacco comes out and makes a statement that y'all need to quit trading my ass and and Joe Burrow, you can stay on the bench for the rest of the year, buddy, and get healthy for next season. I'm gonna take your team to the playoffs probably. So yeah, go with the Bengals. And I could see the Bengals really making a damn. Now it's just us and them because the Browns are just. I heard you guys are bringing up. We'll talk about your game, but Bailey Zappi, get the hell out of here. And the Ravens are just toast too because Lamar's not coming back still for like another couple of weeks. So, yeah, I mean, I could see this being a real statement game for the Bengals as well. Like you said, coming out 4-4, being second in the division. They'll have the tiebreaker with the Steelers so far. We play them pretty close to the end of the season. So,
I'd say
yep.
that was the determining factor in this game. Look, like I said, I think the Jets are capable of winning a game, but until they do, I'm going to pick against them. And then the other thing is, like you said, with them knowing that the division race is tightening up a little bit, I think the Bengals are just going to want it a little bit more, and they'll find a way to win this game.
Yeah, Flacco's playing with a chip on his shoulder with two of the best receivers in the league right now. Look the hell out, son.
Moving on, the 4-2 Bears on the road taking on the 1-5 Ravens. This is a very weird game because they ruled out Lamar Jackson after he was a limited practice participant, and then they ruled him out. The line is still stayed. It's the Ravens are favored 2.5. The public.
That's only because they're at home.
Okay, it's weird though because there's so much. Like I looked it up. There's so much public money on the Ravens, and it's one of the highest picks for the Eliminator Challenge for this week. Like damn near like 20% of the picks are on the Ravens to win this game. There's some weird things going on with it, but I'm very curious what you guys think. Marley, Bears, Ravens.
I'm gonna take the Bears, bro.
Mm.
They're on a roll right now. They're playing good. Defense is playing tight. Caleb, he's out there just game man. He's not turning the ball over. They got a solid run game. I don't know. I know Tyler Huntley's not a bad quarterback for the Ravens, but
Yep.
It's still not Lamar. Like you still got to worry about him, but it ain't the same. Derrick Henry's the X factor in this game. If he goes off, it's a done deal.
But is that guy?
I don't know.
Since week 2, Derrick Henry has been non-existent.
Not doing a whole lot, and I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it's because Lamar's not out there on the field, so they're able to stuff the run better. But usually he's able to run through no matter what you put in front of him. But yeah, I don't know. He's got to get his wheels moving, but until he does, I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Liv.
I'm going with the Bears. Defense has been huge. They're on they're on a big old roll right now, and I'm seeing some pretty good stuff coming out. And I know the Ravens, they're looking a little rough this year, but I think we're gonna stick with the Bears for right now.
My thing in this game, there's injuries on both sides of the ball. On both teams, pretty much enough to where they can field a 53-man roster. It's quite incredible. And there's just so many moving parts. I think what it comes down to, like Marley mentioned, I think with the Ravens being at home, could definitely play a factor into it. But I think the way the Bears have been playing, they've been just kind of figuring out how to win games. Ben Johnson's doing a pretty good job over there with Caleb Williams. I know Max doesn't like to hear that, but the Bears feel pretty good in the position that they're in, and they can keep pace in the NFC North with a victory today. I'm going to take the Bears as well. Max.
Yep.
Where's he at?
Yeah. I'm unfortunately going to pick the Bears today as well.
Wow, clean sweep.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how Baltimore's favored 2.5.
And it hasn't moved. It has not moved.
I don't have any idea.
I don't understand that line. I know there's injury. I know the Bears are injured, but I mean, this is a team that's won 4 in a row. This is a team that's 4-2. This is a team that's got their quarterback. This is a team that's got most of their receivers still. This is a team that's defense is playing pretty well, versus a team that's lost 4 games in a row, versus a team that doesn't have their MVP star quarterback, versus a team that does have other injuries as well. I don't get how they're favored. I don't know what Vegas sees or what Vegas knows. Maybe there's a last minute injury or player that misses or something. I don't know that they know about, insider trading, insider information. I can't remember the last time I've seen a 1-5 team favored over a 4-2 team, even at home, right? I don't know when I've even, I've seen it sometimes be even money, maybe, when like that star team's quarterback and bunch of players are missing, but I don't know. Taking the Bears though, it's just fishy. I don't know. I wouldn't bet that game for sure.
Definitely not. Moving on to my game, 2-5. Cleveland Browns taking on the 5-2 New England Patriots. Patriots are favored 7 points in this game.
Oh my god.
I think so.
Unbiased opinion.
What's that, Liv?
Said unbiased opinion. I have some thoughts. That's all.
I'll get to those in a minute. Going into this game, we know the Browns coming off the win against a very bad Dolphins team. They tend to play, especially on the defense side of the ball, a little bit better. New England's playing pretty well with Vrabel over there at coach. Drake May, he's having a very good season. I think he's got some good pass protection that he didn't have last year. Will Campbell's playing very well. I'm excited to see that matchup with him and Myles Garrett. This is going to be a game about if the Browns can eliminate the big play. Drake May actually leads the NFL in QBR and yards per attempt. Kayshon Boutte has a lot to do with that over there. Max's guy from LSU. They're running the ball pretty well, but they're turnovers. They're a team that can turn the ball over. So I think that if the Browns want any chance in this game, they're going to have to continue to run the ball. But New England's defense is actually top 10 in rush defense. So it's going to be a tough thing today. I got some different things going on where I'm going to be listening to the game, but I'm at the point in the season now where I'd rather be, like renovating my bathroom or something. But I'm going to pay attention because the rookies are playing well. All the rookies are playing well for the Browns. I just hope, they come away healthy, and we'll see what happens.
Imagine that. You'd rather be renovating your bathroom than watching your game.
Pretty much.
I do have to ask you, Fizzle. How did it feel to taste a victory last week?
Like Grant Delpit said, it's, hard to remember what it feels like to win a game.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But we'll see what happens. The Browns do play pretty well against these kind of teams when you count them out. But I just feel like New England's just moving in the right direction. I think they're going to keep pace in the AFC East. Without making a game pick, though, I'm just saying. I'm going to start with Max. Who are you taking in this game? Browns, Patriots.
Un momento, por favor, senor.
What do you want now?
Who's your pick this week, dude?
Dylan Gabriel.
I thought he was hurt.
No, they elevated Bailey Zappi from the practice squad because Shedeur Sanders is hurt.
How the hell did he get hurt?
I don't know.
Jeez, dude. Bailey Zappi's now your backup?
I mean, I guess. Why?
Wow.
What's it to you?
Put some respect on Western Kentucky legend's name, okay?
Who, Bailey Zappi?
This guy threw for 4,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, all right?
Yeah, you know what he did against the Ravens in the last game of the season last year? He threw meatballs. He threw a fucking interception to a 380-pound lineman.
That's crazy.
Bailey Zappi, Patriot legend.
Yeah. He did all right in New England.
Do y'all remember, I know we're making game picks, but do y'all remember when Mac Jones got hurt or sick or whatever that was, and Zappi came in and had like a crazy 2-game stretch or something, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's the future. They found a steal. He's gonna be the guy."
Yeah, one of them was against my Browns.
That's why they picked him up. You know what I mean? Oh, all right, Max.
Okay.
What's your game pick?
Okay, so tidbit for y'all, before
Love the tidbits.
before we get there. The last time the Browns won a game in Foxborough,
93.
does anybody know?
93.
93?
92,
That's a good-
93.
That's a very good guess. It was actually week 8 of the 1992 season.
Bill Parcells.
Do you know who the head coach was?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Beat Bill Parcells. And that was New England was good that year too.
Also, side tidbit about Bill Belichick. The last time the Browns won in Foxborough week 8 of 1992 season was also when his current girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, was 9 years old.
No, that's a tidbit.
I was 12.
Oh, it's
But so I'm saying that we know, right? There's no need to beat a dead horse at this point. We know what the Browns offense is. We know the struggles that they're facing. We know the problems that they have. It's every week it's hope the defense can really keep us in this and the offense can make enough plays to keep the defense not so tired. This is a bad matchup for Cleveland, and the reason I'm going to say this is a bad matchup for Cleveland is this is a very balanced New England team. Like this isn't a team that's just running the football. This isn't a team that's just throwing the football primarily.
Mhm.
This is a team that does both. Now, don't get me wrong; they are more pass heavy than they are run heavy. But they're still averaging over 100 yards as a team on the ground. I mean, that's still top 20 in the league. But when you look at all their other statistics, bro, just kind of like a glance overview of them, I got it written down right here in my little notebook. I always write them down. The Patriots are top 10 in points scored per game. They're top 5 in points allowed per game. They're top 15 in yards per game. They're top 10 in pass yards per game. Top 20 in rush yards, like I said. They're top 10 in time of possession. They're top 10 in third down efficiency.
Mhm.
They're top 15 in sacks, and they're also top 12 in interceptions. This is a very, very balanced team, both offensively and defensively. They, like I said, they have one of the better defensive units in the NFL. Now, granted, they have had some games where it hasn't been the best. Like, and when I say the best, I don't mean like giving up 30 plus games points or anything like that. The worst game they had was the second of the season against the Dolphins when they gave up 27. After that, they haven't gave up much. They gave up 20, 21, 13, 20, 19, 13. I mean, they've really from the beginning of the season to now is really starting to find themselves again. I think New England's the better team, like you said. I didn't know that about Drake May and that tidbit about what he's leading in, dude. When you look at his stats, dude, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Mhm.
I have his stats written down here, but I didn't know he was leading, until you told me in like yards per attempt and everything like that. But I mean, he's completing 75% of his passes,
That's pretty good.
and he has 12 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Like you said, averaging
That's
over
probably
eight
the
and a half
most
yards
impressive
per
part
attempt.
right there.
Mhm.
That's probably the most impressive part right there. He's averaging at least 2 touchdowns a game, and he's only thrown 2 interceptions.
Clean football.
He's taking care of the ball, and
And
I'm impressed.
the other thing too is the emergence of Stephon Diggs of lately. Coming off that injury, he didn't have the best season in Houston last year. You know what's crazy? In 8 games, he played 8 games for Houston last year.
That's it. Oh
He
wow.
had 496 yards in those games. He has 456 now through 7.
Mhm.
So he's kind of on pace with where he was last year in terms of the games he did play, but you can see mentally and emotionally he's in a much better place. Like he looks happy again. Like he looks like he's enjoying football. He looks like he's having fun out there. It looks like him and Drake May is really, really got a chemistry going. I mean, when you look at his game log, excuse me, look at the last few weeks, right? 7 catches, 69 yards. Now at New Orleans, he kind of had a down week, 3 catches, 28 yards. Now that was a game, Kayshon Boutte though had a pretty big game. Some other people really stepped up. But before that, at Buffalo, 12 catches, 146 yards. At Carolina, 7 catches, 101 yards. I mean, he's still very capable of being a very good receiver one. And then you add in, the rookie Kayshon Boutte, who is really coming on. I mean, you look at the games he's had, 2 catches, 55 yards and a touchdown. 5 catches, 93 yards and a touchdown. 3 for 43. Very first game of the season, he had 8 for 103. And I gotta say I'm very proud of this dude, man, because he's knowing where he came from at LSU, everything he went through off the field issue wise, mentally wise, just being checked out, gambling, just other things like that he was involved in. Just it really makes a big difference to see him doing well.
It's
I'm
culture,
not trying to
Max.
spend too much time on here though, but
No, I
I'm going to
appreciate
take the
it.
Patriots. Like I said, I think they're the better team. They're at home here. The Browns offense hasn't really shown that they can consistently put drives together. And when you're facing a team that can consistently put drives together and also make stops on defense consistently, you're already facing an uphill battle.
I think that's the most aggravating part. I'll quickly have this take. The Browns would be 5-2 if they would just score 24 points a game. Like that's just what it comes down to. They haven't been able to do it, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it against the Patriots. Liv, Patriots, Browns.
Patriots all the way. right off the rip. I got nothing but good things to say. I think that, again, the Browns are, I don't know. I have mixed opinions, but I've always, down in the bottom, I've always been a little Patriots, little girly. So,
Ugh.
once team, always team type thing. You know what I mean?
Browns like to win games when Max picks against them, so we'll see. Marley,
I mean,
That is true.
right now you just don't know what's going on over there in Cleveland as once again. So yeah, we're gonna stay with the Patriots all around. Yeah.
5
buddy.
2, 49ers taking on the 2-4 Texans. Another kind of weird line. Texans are favored 2.5 points in this game. Texans are heavily favored. I think it's again, it's just like the home effect. The 49ers are playing very well. They've always just been a team that has just not always, but since Shanahan took over, a very good team. He likes to use his resources. Next man up. Kind of coach them to where they can just still find ways to win games with what he has. And I've been very impressed with the 49ers this season. I'm going to take the 49ers here in a very close game. I think the under is also pretty popular, 41.5. The over is favored, but I think this game is going to be a chess match. And I'm going to take the 49ers, but I'm very impressed with Mac Jones filling in for Brock Purdy, who's still dealing with that toe injury. I'm going to go to Max first here. Who you got, Max?
Yeah, dude, this again, another weird game with a weird line that you're like, why? But I mean, I can see why, because the Texans have a very elite defense, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of points allowed per game, they are number one in the NFL. They're only allowing like 14.5, I think, 14.9, something like that, right under 15. It's number one in the league. The problem is the offense, and it's been the offense. But it seems like the last few weeks they've kind of been figuring it out, trying to come around. Now, granted, the two games they did win was not against very good teams, but you did see some promising things offensively. But when they played pretty good defenses, you don't see it. And the thing about that is that a player issue, or is that a scheme issue? Is that a play calling issue? Like, what, I don't know exactly what it is. I haven't got to watch enough Texans games like live in person while it's happening to really be able to break down exactly what it is, right? Because generally, if you watch a team 2, 3, 4 games in a row, you can kind of get their theme, right? What they like to do offensively, schematically,
Their identity,
who some
right.
of the playmakers are, who they like to, feed the ball to. Same thing defensively. You can start to see who stands out on defense, who's filling the gaps correctly, who's keeping the contain on the edge. The DBs, are they getting their eyes around, or like are they reading the quarterback with the zone, and not getting out of focus? Like, you can see little things like that. I just haven't watched the Texans to see enough of that. And it's pretty evident that when they play teams that have a good to great defense, they fold, like I said. And what is that? Is that from players? Is that just from scheme and play calling, or is that just being outmatched? Because you played the Rams, you scored 9 points. You played the Bucks, you scored 19. You played the Jags, you scored 10. You played the Seahawks, you only scored 19. You haven't scored more than 20 points against a team with a pretty solid defense this season. The 2 games you did win and score 20 plus points against, you Titans, you beat them 26-0. And then the Baltimore Ravens, you beat them 44-10. That's 2 of the worst teams in the NFL right now. So while you do have a really good defense, you only gave up 14 to the Rams. You only gave up 20 to the Bucks. You only gave up 17 to the Jags. Now, you did give up 27 to the Seahawks. But, granted, your offense, again, didn't help you out too much. But you've got to play better against these better teams, because it doesn't matter if you beat the 1-5 teams. It doesn't matter if you do that. You're not playing all those teams every other week. You take a look at your schedule. You've got the Niners this week. Then you've got Denver. Then you got Jacksonville again. Now you've got Tennessee again, just because they're in your division, so you get an easy one. But then you've got Buffalo, the Colts, Kansas City, Arizona, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Colts again. Like,
until Stroud gets it together, bro, it ain't gonna happen. Until Stroud gets it together, though, it ain't gonna happen. Like, you're ready, like absolute dog shit right now. Pizzle and I watched the end of that game, and my man just out here throwing interceptions and shit, easy as hell.
Right.
He's not playing well at all. He hasn't been. Pizzle, Last year we had his ass on fantasy. I don't know if we cursed him or what, but that fool did not perform very well at all last year in
Something wrong
fantasy,
with that
one
man.
bit.
Right. I agree.
And this year he comes out and completely he's not playing like he was, man. And that's the whole kicker, because then they're dependent on him to win these games, and it's not happening. He's not even playing well enough to keep him ahead. You know, he's just turning the ball over. He's not making good decisions. He's getting his ass ate out there, literally.
It started honestly last year, about mid part of the season is when it really started to slide, and it's carried over into this season.
When Tank
I
Dell
mean,
got hurt.
cost my ass the playoffs and fucking fantasy football because he played like shit.
You look at his stats, right? Like his completion percentage is actually up this year. It's a career high right now. You know, he's a career 60, 65-ish, you know, complete percentage passer. You know, 63.9 in his rookie year when he, you know, had 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, you know, average, you know, 270 yards a game. Everybody thought, you know, okay, here we go.
Mhm.
Then you look at last year, right? 63.2 completion percentage, pretty much the same. Yards per game, though, down from 273 to 219. Yards attempt, down from 8.2 to 7. Touchdowns, pretty close, 20 touchdowns, so 3 less than last year. But interceptions, almost doubled.
Exactly. He's turning the ball over like never seen. He's who was that old Houston quarterback? Who was the dude before Watson that played really well, and then he just started being a turnover machine down there? That's what he reminds me of right now. What's up?
Matt Schaub.
Yeah. My man was out there gunning it, and then next thing you know, the other team they're now his receivers, and they're just catching the ball left and right. These aren't even deflections, man. They're just the one I watched him throw that shit, dude. It really right down the middle of the hash mark. So like, here, somebody go get it. But none of my receivers are within 15 yards of this ball, so they're not catching it. Yeah.
Max,
it's just terrible. Man.
49ers.
Yeah, and then
Texans.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the 49ers. CJ Stroud, you know, like I said, even this year, his yards per game is down. His yards per attempt is down too. It's down to 6.8. It was 8.2 his rookie year. It's down 6.8 now, and he's got a 9 to 4 touchdown to interception ratio. It's not looking good for him. Like I said, I don't know if it's schematically, player issue, exactly what the issue is, because I haven't gotten to watch a lot of their games in person or live to truly diagnose this with a good conscience. You know, I don't like to just speak on random stuff and sound stupid. The defense is really good though. I know that just from the games, the few games that I did get to watch, hearing people talk about it, following credible NFL reporters, you know, on the NFL and things like that. I am going to take the 49ers, though. You know, like I said, this is another weird one, another freaking weird one here where, you know, you don't know because of the line. You don't know what Vegas knows. You don't know what's going on. But the records would indicate that, you know, this shouldn't be, you know, this shouldn't be a question.
Liv.
I don't know. I never been a big 49ers fan just because but I think that definitely going back to what you were saying, my perception on the games have been with where the scores have been, I think it's gonna be more of a player issue rather than a play calling issue. As you said, look at the number count, look at the way that their defense is playing. Overall, I think that, you know, if we can see this game, you know, improve or see kind of how things go, you're able to kind of diagnose it in a little bit of a different way, more or less of seeing how things are being called rather than how the players are playing. But I definitely overall think that it's I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Niners on this one. I usually don't go with them, but I have a feeling that they're gonna pull through on this for sure.
Marley.
Oh, as much as I hate to do it, give me the Texans.
All right. So we were bound to shake things up eventually. We were all sweeping all these games so far into this. I was actually kind of impressed the way that these
give me
lines
the
have been.
Texans.
Okay.
Like I think like they'll get it together a little bit. I mean, wait a minute though. I did see that there's Niners. Uh, everybody's coming back though too, except for Brock Purdy, right?
I mean, it's a mixed bag. There's players like in and out all over there, and I just think it doesn't matter. Like Shanahan will have these guys dialed up and ready on the road, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans came away with this game too.
Yeah, give me the Texans
All
win
right.
at home today. Not by much, by a field goal probably. It's going to be a good one. Defense will stand up, I think. It's just a matter of can Stroud get a get right game right here against a solid defense and a can that Texan defense hold up against a very stout Shanahan run game no matter who's in the backfield?
I've brought this
But
up
yeah.
multiple times and nobody wants to talk about it. I've mentioned the fact that the Texans are kind of in the position that the Browns are. They're playing absolutely terrible on the offense. Their defense is fantastic, but they're wasting their defense. And I just think that in the NFL, you got to be able to score points, and it's not happening for the Texans. So I'm going to start picking against them until they do.
Oh, you take the Niners, huh?
Moving on, 1-6 Dolphins on the road, taking on the 3-3 Falcons. Falcons are favored 7 points. Lo and behold, we have Kirk Cousins starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons today. Michael Penix is out. Marley,
I mean,
keep an eye on
can
Drake
the old
London
man
too,
do
though.
it? Can the old man do it? I think he might. And not to mention the Dolphins are just terrible right now. Mike McDaniels is probably going to get fired after this game because they're just at a total debacle down there. The Cheetah's out for the season, so they're just cooked. Even if Penix was playing, I was probably going to take the Falcons. But being there's no film on Cousins now this year, yeah, we'll go with the Falcons and a big blowout against the Dolphins.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson's playing out of his mind too. Liv, Falcons, Dolphins.
Falcons all the way. Dolphins are dog shit this year.
Hey, sometimes it's
They-
just a
till they
simple
improve.
take that kind of puts it over the top. So no explanation
Hey,
needed.
till they improve, I'm gonna stick against it. I mean, look at their record, and you know, I want to see them come back, but unfortunately, they're kind of embarrassing me right now. So
Mm-mm.
we'll hold off on that.
I was telling the fellas, I don't remember if I was telling both of you or just one of you, but like last week, so when I was watching the Browns and Dolphins game, they would just pan over to Mike McDaniel, and he had this big coat on with these like $600 shades on, and like the terrible storm that we had or whatever in the first half. And every time that they would pan over to him, he would just look more disheveled than he did the few minutes before that. And it just got to the point to where like, oh, that's just a dead man walking. Great offensive coordinator, but I just don't think that he's cut out to be an NFL coach for the Dolphins right now. And I thought that he should have been fired last week too.
Yep.
I am taking the Falcons, and this was a contender for my Survivor pick of the week. I actually, one of the games that we picked earlier, I can go back and mention that, but the Falcons are a good contender for that this week. I'm taking the Falcons at home. Max.
Yeah, I'm also gonna take the Falcons at home here. Like I said, the Dolphins are just terrible, bro. And I know Kirk Cousins hasn't played this season. He's making his season debut. And he didn't really look good the last few times he played, but they still have a lot of weapons on that offense. And like I said, they're at home. The Dolphins just cannot do anything, right offensively, defensively. I mean, Tua's just mumbling through his press conferences. I mean, the dude's getting backlash every single day. It seems like when he opens his mouth at some type of press conference. It's gonna be a wash there, dude. They're gonna blow this thing up sooner than later. If Mike McDaniel makes it through the season, I'll be surprised. But there's going to be major changes there. I mean, that's going to start from head coach, OC, DC, all the way to quarterback and major shift in the receiver room. Give me the Falcons at home. I think it might be. I don't really think it's going. I don't know about Marley's blowout take. Just because, like I said, this is an offense that even with Michael Penix wasn't just scoring a lot of points a game. Anyways, I mean, they was only averaging like 18 points a game. So I mean, that's pretty close to the bottom half of the league. I just don't see Kirk Cousins coming in and making that better. But I do think they win here.
Wrapping up the 1 o'clock slates, a game that was definitely on my radar that would be fun to watch. The 2-5 Giants with Marley's Jackson Dart taking on the 5-2 Philadelphia Eagles, 7.5 point favorites. This is a big line for a division game. Let's talk
Mm.
about it. Marley over under 43.5.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, man.
Damn it! This is a big game for the Giants. This is a statement game in their division. Jackson
Mhm.
Dart. Damn it, Pittsburgh. Why didn't y'all draft this kid? I knew it. You just watch him out there. Jeez, the guy just makes plays. I'm loving it. I don't know. I'm big on the Giants making a comeback this season. That kid's playing lights out. Philadelphia, though, how can you really pull against them? That's stupid. Tush push bullshit.
Yeah. AJ Brown
Yeah,
being
but
out, I
no.
believe you're going to see that a lot more today, too.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're going to probably see a lot of that and a lot of Saquon then if AJ Brown's out. But
Especially against the
and then
Giants.
probably see, of course, Jalen's going to go run all over the damn field whenever he, drops back and doesn't see a pass within 2 seconds. He's just going to run. But no, you know what though? Give me the Giants in a big upset, baby.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Liv.
Let's go.
I got a lot to say here. With where the Eagles are, obviously noticing that they've been on the more inconsistency of gameplay, although they also have been on a 2-week losing streak.
Mhm.
I think with where we have the injuries, they have definitely have shown more strength, I would say, on their offensive side rather than the more defensive side. I don't know. With what I got here with my notes, let's see. Right now I'm seeing, that they've had a lot of good uh offensive moves with touchdowns. But I think that they're gonna come back. I think that, it doesn't matter what their winning or losing game streak has been. I definitely could see a big step up in them coming back. So we're gonna go ahead and go for the Eagles on this one.
I think you guys kind of put together the reason why I'm picking the Eagles, and I just think that they're gonna give Saquon Barkley the ball, and he's gonna remind the Giants like it does every time why you let him go to a division rival. But this game's gonna be it's gonna be a pretty tight game. I can see it being tight, definitely early. I just think the Eagles have just a few more weapons than the Giants do that they'll eventually run away. They might backdoor cover in the end, but I'm still gonna stay away from, especially division games when you're favored 7.5. Like you got to win by more than a touchdown. And I think it's gonna be a little bit closer than everybody thinks, but I'm still gonna take the Eagles. Max.
Where's he at?
Man, this was tough for me actually. I kind of want to go with Marley and take the Giants here.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it, just for the vibes.
Shake it up a little bit.
I do think that the Eagles kind of do have the more overall talented team, especially across the offensive line, and defensive line. But just there's something about the Giants this year ever since Jackson Dart took over. It's like they're playing with much more of a swagger. They're playing with more intensity. They're playing with more urgency. Scatabo is still just running like he's trying to get CTE every single play. I don't know, with AJ Brown being out, it kind of feels like they're gonna have to rely way more on the running game this today, which I mean we know they do primarily anyways. I mean when you do have someone like Saquon, I mean he warrants 15 plus touches a game. That's easy. I mean if we had Saquon Barkley, I would not be mad that he gets 15 plus touches a game. That's a guy that warrants that type of touches. I mean, whether it's catching the ball or running the football, when you're a walking touchdown waiting to happen, that's the kind of respect you're due and the workload that you need. But Devontae Smith is really good, a phenomenal receiver. I don't think people realize that. I think on a good bit of teams, Devontae Smith would be a receiver one.
Mm-hmm.
He's consistent. He's under the radar. He's no off the field issues. He's just consistent. He's a playmaker, man. He's a hard worker. Shout out to him, Louisiana kid. But I just feel like the Giants are gonna make some noise today. I feel like with all the external pressures and stuff that we've been hearing about the Eagles and the discourse around the receivers, having an issue with Jalen Hurts and the play calling and AJ Brown wanting to get traded, and they're coming out saying no, he's not going to get traded. Well, why would they come out and make a report about him not getting traded if there was no issues at all? If there's no issues, there's no reason to make any report. There's no reason to refute any report. There's no reason to say anything. So I do think there's a little more going on in the locker room and behind the scenes than we know about. So let me take the Giants here.
Let's go.
Like I said, we have these weeks, where we may take a game that we think is crazy and we may lose, but that's the fun in it, man. That's how it goes. But sometimes when you get those gut feelings, you boys, y'all know what we're talking about. Those from all these years of picking games, you just look at a game sometimes that it should obviously be some other team, right? But your gut is just like, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And I hate going against my gut a lot of the times. We've been pretty successful at these picks over these years. I think we've got a pretty good record, far ahead of being above 500 in total picks. So I'm gonna go with my gut, man. I'm gonna take the Giants with Marley here on this one. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles win because on paper, on everything that we know about in terms of name players and star players, they are the better. Excuse me, my voice went away a little bit. They are the better team, but statistically, they're not that far apart at all. When you look at points scored per game, they're right there, 14th and 19th, 24.3, 21.9. Points allowed per game,
Some good perspective.
23.6, 25.3. They're right there. Yards per game, 302. The Eagles, the Giants, 350. They actually allow more yards they actually get more yards per game. Pass yard per game, pretty similar, 214 to 225. What's crazy?
No. Hold on. Give me that stat though. After Jackson Dart, don't give me that bullshit Russell Wilson.
Well, they were
Jackson
actually putting up. They were putting up
Jackson
points
Dart
with
is
them
averaging
too.
131 yards a game.
Not bad.
He's doing it
Not
with his
great,
feet,
but
too.
not bad. What's his interception touchdown ratio though?
He has 7 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the offense for the Eagles as well. And I know they are more dominant run heavy game, but surprisingly they've been more effective passing the football this season. The run game is down a lot compared to where it was last year. I mean, they're not even averaging 100 yards a game as a team. They're averaging 88 yards rushing. The Giants are averaging 125 yards rushing a team.
Let's go. Scatterboo's out there running like a fucking nut.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the Eagles' awesome offensive linemen from the last few years' teams, where it was no doubt about it the best unit in the league. But that's when you really look at that number, it really makes you sit and think, right? Because that's what people think when they see the Eagles, right? They think, oh, all they do is run the football. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, which they do. Saquon deserves his attempts, right? He's averaging 16, 15 yards an attempts a game.
He does.
But he's
people
only,
are kept onto his ass. Like, you ain't gonna go out there and win the damn rushing title every year, homie. People are gonna start hitting your ass.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to go out there and rush for 2,000 yards every single season. It's you're gonna have up and down years. You know what I mean? He's still a guy though that can probably get 1,500 yards in his sleep. Because
he's absolutely a very capable man. Everybody thinks, oh, he won he's gonna be it's always gonna be. Now his ceiling is his ceiling, and that's his expectations going to be, rushing title, whatever the hell. But now, defenses aren't going to let that happen every year. They're not.
Like I said, I wrote down all these stats just to put a side by side of how close on statistically these teams actually are. Now, obviously, the records are vastly different. The like I said, the big name players is vastly different. But the statistics is damn near the same, and the Giants is actually better in some. In time of possession, they're almost the same. The Giants have a slight edge. Third down efficiency, the Giants have a slight edge. In sacks, the Giants have a slight edge. In interceptions, the Eagles have one more as a team than them. And everything else, like I said, they're pretty comparable, right on top of each other. And when you look at the Giants, ever since Jackson Dart took over, that has been a much more competitive team, right? When you look at them versus the Chargers, that beat them 21-18. That was Jackson Dart's first start. They played the Saints on the road. They lost 26-14, but that was a competitive game. Then they beat the Eagles 34-17 the first time they played them.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Then
That's
they
what I'm
lost
saying.
33-32 to the Broncos after collapsing. Now, that was just a collapse by their defense. Now, the offense should have scored more points, but when you score 30 points a game and you're up by, like, I think, 17 or 18 in the fourth quarter, and your defense gives that up, that's on your defense. I don't care what you say. The defense
Yeah.
lost that game for the Giants. That's another game they should win. And I mean, if that's a win, like if they don't blow that, we're looking at a 3-4 Giants team right now instead of a 2-5.
And
Like
yeah,
I
I
said,
know, yeah, I'm well aware they're 2-5, but look at what they did to the Eagles the last time they played.
Yeah,
You
no,
said,
that's why I
come
was
on, bro.
saying, that's why I was saying that's the records are vastly different. You can flip their records and it's the same 5-2, 2-5, but it's not the same because Jackson Dart hasn't been starting every game. He is now. He's still a rookie, and they don't have a lot of playmakers on that team. I mean, they lost their best playmaker in Malik Neighbors to his ACL injury. He's out. Now, if you imagine if you keep Malik right in that offense as well as Scatterbo coming on and running as good as he is. I mean, that's offense is looking a lot better, and that's why I hope Giants fans keep some hope, and they keep they know that yes, while the record isn't good and we may not make the playoffs, the future is bright. Jackson Dart as a rookie is showing a lot of good signs. Cam Scatterbo is showing a lot of good signs. Malik Neighbors, we know what he can do whenever he's healthy. You just need to fix the offensive line. You need to get some more help on defense, and you need to get another good receiver to help Malik out. That's what you need. And I
No, they got
truly
that.
believe the Giants could be
They're
a
close.
playoff contended team.
But they got that young boy now, though. Who that young boy that he been throwing the ball to? That came up with him from the practice squad. What's that receiver's name, Pizzle?
You've mentioned it a couple times, and I know that we keep going back to that. It's because it's the players that they came up with. Just like you said, they play with them in
talking
training
about-
camp. Play with them on
Are you
scout
talking
team.
about Wandale Robinson
No, well, that is another one that's been kind of
or
playing
London
pretty well for
or Lil
them.
Jordan Humphrey?
Yep, Lil Jordan
He
Humphrey.
got a crazy. He got a crazy last name.
Yep,
But
Humphrey.
yeah, that's what they were talking about him. We got to watch the end of their game one week, and they were just balling out together because they came up together on the practice squad. If you put him in there, and then you put Malik in there with him, you'll be golden. And then you get the run game's already steady. Like you said, you fix that offensive line and tighten up that defense. They can make some plays. They need to make it today. Giants big win over the Eagles again. Let's go.
Moving on,
You know
fellas.
what's crazy
What's up?
is the Giants have played 3 games since Malik Neighbors got hurt, and he's still second on the team in receiving yards.
That's a little
Terrible.
tidbit. Keep it moving, fellas. 4:00 slate. One of the underrated rivalries in the NFL that nobody likes to talk about except for people that know it. 3-5, 5-2. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3.5-point favorites on the road, taking on the 1-6 Saints. Over under 46.5. But as bad as the Saints are, I think the Saints offense, they're putting up points. I will say, we know Spencer Rattler kind of is what he is. The Saints are not a good team, but they've been in some games, and I think this is going to be a tough game, or at least a little bit tougher than people might think on the surface of it. But Marley, go ahead. 3.5 bucks.
Bucks, come on, bro. No need. Saints are out. Washed. Playing for the first pick in the draft.
Liv, are you still with us? I'm just kidding. I know we get on these little rants.
Yeah,
once
can
in a
y'all
while.
hear me? My Wi-Fi is
Yep, you're good. You were just muted, so you're
my
fine.
Wi-Fi is
I know
been
you're just patiently
horrendous,
waiting.
So bear with. But I'm going Bucks on this one.
All right. I'm gonna go Bucks as well, but I think this is gonna be one of those games that could sneakily go either way. I would not be surprised. Max.
Yeah, this is going to be another clean sweep here. I'm going to take the Bucks. The Saints. The Saints are the Saints this year, dude. It is what it is. They've got an identity crisis. They're trying to figure some things out. New coaching staff, new offensive staff, new defensive staff. Rookie, pretty much a rookie quarterback. I mean, I know this is technically, I think Spencer Rattler's second year in the NFL, but I mean his first year starting. So I mean, the kid's pretty much a rookie, and he hasn't necessarily been playing bad. I mean, he's almost completing 70% of his passes. He's got an 8-4 touchdown to interception ratio, averaging over 200 yards a game. I think, like I said, it's his first year starting, and he's very freaking young. People tend to think that every quarterback is going to be, you know, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, and they're just immediately going to become a, you know, great to above average or top 10 quarterback in the league, you know, within the first year or two. And that's honestly just not the case. I mean, that's that's a slim majority of people that come into the league and they are great, you know, right away. And most of those people, you see certain traits of them immediately that tells you, yeah, they're probably going to be good. Let's
Mhm.
say, for example, you know, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody and their mama knew this dude had a freaking cannon of an arm. Everybody knew he could throw the ball hard. Everybody knew he could scramble around and extend and make plays with his leg. Like everyone knew that. You watched him at Texas Tech, you knew that. They just always had terrible defenses, and he did have a lot of interceptions just because he was young. And like I said, when you have an elite arm like that, you think you can make every throw. That comes from developing your mind and reading the defenses and progressing a lot better, which comes with experience.
Right.
So Patrick Mahomes, elite qualities, elite traits, big arm, good mobility, good size. Josh Allen, big arm, big guy, mobile, pretty quick, pretty nimble, right? Same thing as Patrick Mahomes. A lot of good stuff in college, but you know, a lot of bad stuff just need to be redefined. Lamar Jackson, super athlete, super quick, super fast, hell of a dual threat quarterback, but he also has a very good arm. He's can put touch on passes as well. But right, like I said, one of the bigger things about him though was Trace was his elusive ability, how fast he was. Like, right, there hasn't been a quarterback like him since Michael Vick.
Man,
Then you keep moving along to some other quarterbacks that came in the league and immediately started doing good. Joe Burrow, right? What did Joe Burrow have? He didn't necessarily have elite traits that you would say. Like no one was saying, "Oh, Joe Burrow has this super cannon arm," but he has a really good arm. Nobody was saying, "Oh, he's super mobile and quick like Lamar." But Joe Burrow is mobile. He can extend around, move around the pocket, move up, step up, slide left, slide right, and extend, make plays. But Joe Burrow's thing that was very good about him is Joe Burrow makes really good decisions most of the time with the football. He's fairly accurate quarterback. Um, he's good at connecting with his receivers. He's good at knowing where to go to the ball. He's good at dissecting defenses. And like I said, he came from a pretty legit NFL system that we ran when we brought in Joe Brady and night team from the Saints.
Mhm.
We pretty much ran that Saints offense that year. I mean, that's the type of NFL style offense that it was. So he had a lot of reps with that. Um, so you can't have these guys just come in and immediately think they're going to be great. I mean, Spencer Rattler. This was a kid that was a 5-star, highly talented out of high school. Went to Oklahoma, was projected to win the Heisman, be the first overall pick, yada yada. Loses his job to Caleb Williams. He transferred to South Carolina, where he has a pretty decent 2-year run, but it was nothing special, right? He doesn't have just this super elite arm. He's not just a super quick quarterback. He's mobile. He's got a good arm. He's a solid quarterback. But he's young. He's got to get that experience in the NFL. It's like, I can't remember who it was that said this, and I'm trying to remember who it was in terms of evaluating quarterbacks. It was saying, that you need to hit a certain benchmark of like legit games, like 25, 30 high profile or high level games,
Was
like
it John
college
Gruden?
and NFL.
It might have been John Gruden.
To really determine when you have a good quarterback, right? 30 starts, 25 starts, whatever it was, high level starts in college and in the NFL, you generally can see who a quarterback is.
I'd give the kid
Um,
another year. Try to get some weapons
but
around him because he's not playing
I'd
bad.
give him another year too. But like I said, because this year's quarterback draft class is cheeks. You're
Mhm.
gonna have a top 5 pick. Do not waste it on one of these quarterbacks. Draft one of the better defensive or offensive players in the draft. A lineman, a corner, O lineman. I know Saints fans aren't gonna want to hear that, but or to be better yet, you could trade back for a team that might want to be stupid enough to take one of these quarterbacks and get more draft picks and build the team overall again.
Mhm.
Trade off some of your older players to acquire more draft picks. Trade Alvin Kamara, trade Demario Davis. You trade you trade these older guys that's expiring contracts, or and get some more draft picks, clear up some space, embrace the rebuild. You'll be in a much better spot. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks here. Baker Mayfield and the boys, they're playing really good football, high level football. I know they kind of, looked pretty bad against Detroit the last week, but before that, man, they was kind of on a
Great,
roll.
bro.
They're a competitive football team.
Well, Marley,
That's the
couple games to go. Let's wrap it up. 1-6 Titans taking on the 6-1 Indiana Jones led Colts. 14.5 is the over under. Anybody want to take the Titans? I think we're all going to take the Colts here, right? Colts, Marley, Colts,
yeah.
Liv, Colts. I'm taking the Colts.
all the way.
Very impressive with the Indianapolis Colts. They're kind of this year's Denver Broncos for me this year. Well, now we'll get to that game in a minute. And I'll explain why, but I'm taking the Colts here. Max.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts as well. The Titans they're awful, bro. They're awful. And Cam Ward's development is not going good this season. I mean, he's showing good signs, but then he's showing a lot of bad stuff as well. I mean, but when your head coach gets fired, your rookie year is kind of
right. And now
hard to get most stuff going. But hey, look, little tidbit.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor has 11 touchdowns this season.
That's insanity.
That is 5 more than the entire Titans team has.
That's insane.
Especially Taylor is also on pace to lead the NFL this year in carries, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. That's basically a running back's triple crown. He did it in 2021, and he would be the first player to win multiple rushing triple crowns outright since 1958 through 59 and then 1965.
That's why it's
so you know who did it? You know who is the only other player to win it multiple times?
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Yeah.
It's easy.
So I think it's going to be a big game today for the Colts. How about Daniel Jones, man? I mean, what is it? What is it about the last couple of years of quarterbacks that were mid to bad to moving over to another situation? I mean, again, that just kind of shows you, though, right, that you've got to give these quarterbacks time to truly nourish and develop and see themselves in good environments. I mean, you look at Sam Darnold, bro. Adam Gase on the Jets, he was absolutely looked awful, looked terrible. He went to the Panthers. He looked awful. He looked terrible. Did not look good. Then he goes to the freaking Vikings and gets a $40 million contract. And he still is really good this year. He's not bad this year at all either.
I was taking the Seahawks on a hell of a run.
Yeah, they're
now you look at Daniel Jones. God looking awful on the Giants. Had a couple good seasons where he showed some good stuff. Goes to the Colts. Not even supposed to be the starter. I think Anthony Richardson gets a little banged up or something at the end of training camp, so they kind of give the lead to Daniel Jones, and then he just takes off and never looked back. And so that makes you think, too, is he going to end up getting himself a $40-50 million contract? I mean, where's it going to be?
The Colts are going to pay the man. Colts are going to pay him. How can you separate him off this team now? He, like you said, Max, he finally came into his own. And then now he's got Jonathan Taylor behind him at running back, and you still got a pretty damn good defense. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to pay the man. If not, you're going to have to let him go because he's going to get paid somewhere else. What kind of contract you got?
I think you're right on that too, Marley. Like I said, is it a risk giving him, let's say, $20, $30, $40 million after one, pretty above average, great season? Yeah, but you think the Vikings regret not giving Sam Darnold some money after this year? They're 3-4. They're 3-4 while excuse me. Ooh, sorry, my voice. I got something stuck in my throat.
Been doing a lot of talking today. It's good. It's a good thing though.
Yeah, but the Seahawks, excuse me. Sam Darnold's got the Seahawks rolling right now. They're 5-2. They're 5-2. If you look at the current playoff standings right now, they would be the second seed in the NFC. You know what the Vikings would be? Not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs. Non-existent.
Not in the playoffs. Not even in the conversation.
So, do you think the Vikings, with Sam, with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Hawkinson and all those weapons they have, do you think they regret not saying, hey, I know we did draft J.J. McCarthy, you know. But maybe we need to offer Sam Darnold a year or two deal, just to bring him back in case maybe we can give McCarthy another year to develop, truly heal from his injury, learn the playbook. Then we can maybe trade Darnold or whatever. But
But
dude,
now
but
you
look at
brought
him.
in
He's doing really well while the Vikings are not, and they're in quarterback hell. They got Carson Wentz as their quarterback. JJ McCarthy did not look good when he did play, and he's back
Mhm.
injured. And there's a lot of rumors going around that he's not really as injured as bad as he is. It's coaching decision to start Carson Wentz because they know he's not ready,
That's what I was going to
and they don't
say.
want to start him because if he looks awful and he's not and he's healthy, then what's the excuse then?
That's exactly what I was going to go to. They showed there was a play on the sideline that it went to the sideline. I forget who it was, but like I think the Chargers like caught a pass, and it happened to be right in front of JJ McCarthy, and he leaped over the players, and everybody's like, "Oh, his ankle looks good. Like, what's going on?" Like, it was just kind of there's some weird things going on in Minnesota, which is weird because I have a lot of respect for Coach O'Donnell. I think he's done a great job with the Vikings, but it's like one of those things where like I feel like he's not trying to save his job. I don't think there's anything there, but it's like they're choosing to continue to throw out Carson Wentz, and my man was in a sling last week.
And he was
I would have
hurting.
taken the Chargers, man. I would have taken the Chargers in that game. It's just weird. There's some weird stuff going on in the NFL, and that's just what happens.
Yeah, like I said, we could continue to move along. We all picked the Colts, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up and see what y'all's thoughts were because it's kind of a similar situation, right? You got a quarterback coming in his first year after not doing too good on a small team friendly deal. He explodes, your team explodes, record wise, overall wise. Everyone seems to be better around him, elevated because of him. But you're stuck in that situation where you have a younger guy behind him that you drafted a year or two before that has a pretty good amount of potential, just hasn't shown a lot.
Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy. That's his
And
number one problem.
you're on this verge of, like I said, you're 6-1. That's not a fluke. If you go, let's say you win 12 games, 13 games, that's not a fluke. I don't care if you make the first round of the playoffs and you lose the first game. Winning 12 plus games in the NFL is not a fluke. Hell, winning 10 plus games in the NFL is not a fluke. You can see that by the amount of bad teams that we have in the league this year. I mean, the 1-6 Dolphins, the 0-7 Jets, the 2-5 Raiders, the 2-5 Browns, the 1-5 Ravens, the 2-4 Texans, 1-6 Tennessee Titans. You've got the 2-5 Giants, which again we talked about them, but the 2-5 Cardinals, the 1-6 Saints. Like, it's not easy to win in this league. I mean, the Ravens were just, the last 2-3 years, a 10, 11, 12 plus win team with a MVP quarterback making the playoffs without a doubt, no doubt about it, they were going to be there. And now look at them. Now, obviously, Lamar's hurt and hasn't been playing, so that's playing a major factor. But as a whole, the team has kind of fell off. So a lot of people like last year saying the Vikings were a fluke and everything like that. I don't think the Vikings were a fluke last year. I think the fluke was losing their quarterback in Sam Darnold, which made that offense go, which made that offense hum, which made it consistent, which made the defense look a lot better because they're not on the field as much because Sam Darnold is cooking up 12, 13, 14 play drives that take 4 or 5 minutes off the clock that ends in a touchdown. And now your defense, who has been well rested, gets to go out there. And if they fuck around and get a 3 and out immediately, well, guess what? Now the other team's defense is right back out there, and the offense is back out there scoring again while you're resting more. So I think they kind of bounced off each other last year, which is why we've seen a big fall off this year from them. Is I think a lot of it has to do with Sam Darnold not being the quarterback. As hard as I have to say that, as bad as it is, right? Because y'all know how I feel a lot about our division rivals, right? Like there's no love for a lot of them.
That's for sure.
But I truly believe that they would be a much better team if they would have kept Sam Darnold. So, like I said, I just wanted to bring that up, being as we was talking about the Colts, and they're kind of in a similar situation. I agree with Marley. Even if you thought Anthony Richardson could one day be the guy, he's way too injury prone. This quarterback draft class is not good, and you're a good team, so you're not gonna have a great pick anyways to get one. There's really no free agent quarterbacks besides Daniel Jones that's worth going. Maybe Mac Jones. But why would you get rid of Daniel Jones to sign a Mac Jones when you could have just kept Daniel Jones?
I brought this up multiple times on the show. I know it's still early, but it's looking pretty good for the Colts, like you said. I would have absolutely loved to bet them at plus money to make the playoffs this season because I said Daniel Jones going for the Colts. Kind of look out for this, and you guys were kind of agreeing with me. I'm not calling you guys out. I think we all have an understanding of this. I just really felt the Colts were kind of compared to the players that they had when Daniel Jones was on the Giants. You know, having a running back. I will compare Jonathan Taylor to Saquon Barkley because I think he is an elite running back. And just kind of the weapons that he has around him. The offensive line was kind of similar to Daniel Jones's Giants when they were good. I'm sorry, I kind of foamed my words there. When the Giants were good, they had the players kind of similar to how they have now in Indianapolis, and a solid defense, like you said. And that's why I'm really not surprised by what the Colts are doing. I am surprised that they are 6-1, but I'm not surprised that they are a successful team under Shane Steichen. And I like I said, I think he's coach of the year. I think they're doing pretty good over there in Indianapolis. And like I said, I think they come away big with this game.
I will say I am absolutely surprised. I did not see this coming. I did not see Daniel Jones being good at all. I legit was kind of laughing when I saw that he was going to be the starting quarterback and was like, "Oh, here comes the tank season. They're tanking for Arch Manning," because of course this was beginning of the season before college season started really kicking off, before we knew who the good quarterbacks was and who wasn't, and all that good stuff. But I did not see this. I think I picked against them the first 2 weeks because I thought it was a fluke, and then they just kept winning, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna pick them like every time until they don't, win. But I agree. I think me and Marley, I think even you, Pizzle, are kind of on the same page of their best interest would be to re-sign Daniel Jones to a contract because Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy, and even when he is healthy, he what's crazy about him is the dude makes some of the hard plays look so easy and effortless. Like he'll escape 5 sacks and be falling away on his back foot and throw a 70-yard dime to somebody for a touchdown, but yet he can't hit an open man on a slant or a 5-yard out consistently. I don't get it about him. Which Pizzle knows my thoughts on Anthony Richardson as well. I was not big on him when he was coming out of college.
I just don't know how you draft a guy that only 12, like he played like 10 career games in college. Like, I just don't know how you do that. And then the way that they treated him when he was first brought to the team, they had some quarterback competition. They wanted to play him right away. They actually sat him out for a couple of games because they thought his lack of effort wasn't there. That was just a mess. So for them to go out to get Daniel Jones not only saves Shane Steichen's job, but I think it revitalized the Colts, and you have to re-sign him. But we got to move on, guys. We got to move on. Got to keep it going. Only a couple of games left, all right?
Yep.
Now, Liv, before I bring you in, because I know we're going to talk a little bit about your Broncos, I will say I'm going to call the guys out.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the guys out a little bit here because last year, there's usually one team that we kind of make a prediction for early in the season that we think, yeah, this is going to be the team that does it. In the NFC, it was the Commanders. We were really high on the Commanders. They actually ended up going all the way to the NFC Championship game. Last year, my team to make a big splash was the Denver Broncos. I was a big believer in Bo Nix.
Yep.
I really thought that he was going to be the quarterback to help this franchise out, and I thought they were in a good position to do it, building around that defense and the offensive weapons that they have. So, Liv, I'm going to give you the floor, but I just wanted to mention when these guys were counting them out, I was high on the Denver Broncos last season. So let's talk about this game.
Yeah,
You're obviously not going to make a pick, but I just want to hear your thoughts on the Broncos season and what you think is going to happen today against the Cowboys.
Absolutely. To kind of kick off, the Broncos had a really strong season last year, which I think is definitely a good look on them as far as this year goes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they might have a good game tonight. Just despite, how they have been playing and with what their record is looking like.
Yeah,
You
5-2.
as I can't really make a pick for this one, but I don't know, they're like, I don't know. Yeah, I can see them doing really well this year. This is the first time that made the playoffs since winning the Super Bowl Sunday. So I feel like with their 10-7 record and their coach Sean Payton, I feel like they might be okay. They might have a chance in being able to make it far. But um yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I was not really a into, the Broncos last year. But now that I've, watched more and more and I've been working with them a little bit, I've definitely I have my look on it for sure, but
All right. The
that's
Broncos are
definitely
3-0
that
at
I
home too. They always play tough in Mile High. It's a very tough place to play. Their defense is playing great, and we know that they gave up a bunch of points to the Giants last week, but that was an absolutely fun game to watch. I did catch the end of it. I think
yeah.
that the Broncos are in a really good spot. They're 5-2. They're taking on the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys though, who have a very high-powered offense. And I've shared some quarterback stats in the DMs, and you guys kind of were, at least Marley wasn't happy. He goes, "Why are you sharing Dak Prescott stats in here?" That's because Dak Prescott's playing out of his mind, and he's got CeeDee Lamb back. So I think it's going to be a good
Hey,
game.
dude, I don't want to hear it.
Marley, who you got?
I don't wanna hear
Broncos, Cowboys.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
wanna-
going to take the Broncos at home because it's Mile High, and they're not going to be able to run around like that up there. Liv will tell you she lives up there. The air is just different, like
Oh yeah, it's rough out here. Yup. Hey,
you
and I
can't.
also I want to put out there, being at home a big advantage.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the Broncos. To hell with the Cowboys.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
I'm going to skip my pick for just a second here. I'm going to go to Max because I'm sure he's going to have a couple tidbits on this game. A lot of injuries over there on the Dallas Cowboys DBs. I'm
Exactly,
pretty
bro.
sure you're going to be playing in
CeeDee
this
Lamb
game,
just
Marley.
coming back, man. I don't care. I don't want to hear about George Pickens' ass either, bro.
Oh,
I'm
you're
so
gonna.
sick of that shit. You keep posting his fucking dog meat stuff. I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay? I don't want to fucking hear
He's
it.
leading the
all right?
NFL. Just about.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Y'all don't. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what you do in the regular season, okay? Because look what that clown did last season for us in the playoffs. We needed him the fucking most. What did he do? Drop the ball constantly. Flopped around on the field like a freaking fish out of water, okay? Now he goes down to Dallas. Of course, which does have a little bit better quarterback situation than we did. But, I mean, he did have Russell Wilson last year to throw the ball to him. So, and he was getting his catches. But, the hell with George Pickens, bro. It's cooked, fried. CeeDee Lamb's going to take all the heat back now and no more. He can go have a temper tantrum on the sideline down there.
That's good though. They'll both share targets, and I think they have a very good offense with both of them being on the field. It's just a matter of like if the Cowboys are going to stay in it, you're right. He's going to play like he has been. He's going to play good. The Cowboys start stringing off a couple losses, and he'll do what Dallas does best, and that's spiral out of control towards the end of the season. But for now, they're playing pretty well too, and I think this is going to be a good game. That's all I'm going to say. Max,
Mac,
what you got?
Yeah, I honestly think this is going to be a really good game. I mean, the Cowboys are missing like pretty much their entire secondary today.
Yeah.
Which their injuries has been so crazy this year, dude. I mean, they've missed like their entire offensive line a game. Now they're missing like their entire secondary this game. I mean, their defense is cooked. They're not bringing that defense back any. I mean, they're giving up almost 30 points a game, but they're scoring 30 points a game. They're giving up like 350 yards a game, but they're averaging 400 yards a game yards wise.
That's crazy.
The Broncos are on a roll though. They've got 4 wins in a row. Now granted, 3 of those wins have been against some kind of subpar teams. The Bengals, the Jets, the Giants.
They got the Bengals against with Jake Browning, huh?
But they did beat the Eagles in a game on the road. The Broncos are a pretty balanced team, man. They've got some good players on offense. They've got a really good defense. Nick Bonito and Pat Surtain are just all players. They're cornerstone franchise players for the future for that defense.
Nick Bonito's playing out of his mind.
I think at home here too, though. Like I said, I'm going to take the Broncos here. I would not be surprised though if the Cowboys win, but that's going to be because this becomes a shootout. Because, like I said, the Broncos, the Cowboys are going to score their points. Can the Broncos stay up there and score those points as well, which I think they can? But I think with Patrick Surtain, with Nick Bonito, and all these other guys, that they're going to be able to limit the Cowboys a little bit. So I'm gonna take the I'm gonna take the Broncos.
There's only one other team on a 4-game winning streak in the NFL. Do you know that team? It's the New England Patriots.
Yep.
Just a little tidbit I wanted to throw out there. I really did go back and forth in this game. And the reason why I was saving my game pick for last, because I definitely didn't want to cheat this because I already had my game pick written down, but I just want to hear everybody's kind of thoughts collectively before I decide to make my game pick. And I'm taking the Cowboys because
fuck.
I think this game is going to turn into a shootout. It's going to be a shootout. Like the Cowboys games
No,
always
it's
happen to turn
not.
into a shootout.
Dude, it's not. Look, bro. No, it's not.
It's gonna
You know
be.
why? Because they're gonna. Listen, if this was in Dallas, I could understand that.
Mhm.
Because it's literally it's Mile High that comes into a factor here tonight, bro. They're not gonna. Dallas's offense is not gonna be able to run wicked like that. Those receivers are not. Their lungs aren't conditioned for that shit.
But like Max said,
they're-
the Cowboy, I mean the Broncos, you know, they put up all the points against the Giants last week. They had to do it to come back. If they played that game again this week, they're not going to be able to beat the Cowboys.
The Cowboys defense, like Max just said, is just decimated on the secondary.
That's
so Cam
fine.
Sutton's probably gonna have a damn career day against these guys. Yeah.
I could see it.
Mm.
I think the Broncos are going to lose a game here or there eventually, and I just think that this is the week that they're going to do it, and that's just what it came down to for me. But like I said, I like everything that's going on over there in Denver. I think I think they definitely have an opportunity to win the division. You know, the way I know the Chiefs are playing really well. We know the Chargers kind of had their get right game on Thursday night, but for right now, the Broncos they're kind of controlling their destiny right now. But I think they let one slip this week. Just keep it interesting. All right, boys. I know you guys are going to take a while to talk about this game, so we're going to break it down. All right, Sunday Night Football, 4-1-1. Green Bay Packers. Favorite 3 points on the road, taking on your 4-2 Steelers. Over under 45.5. I'm going to let Liv make her pick first.
Liv?
Oh, this one's a hard one. I don't know. I don't know who I want to go for.
Can you pick against your cousin? Can you pick against your cousin?
Not really. The only reason I'm going for my Packers is I've always been a diehard Packers fan.
Not on the Packers anymore, Liv.
Hey, but these fellas have been playing pretty well, and you know that's just kind of that's my crew. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I gotta stick with the Packers. I can't be a traitor.
Oh,
Sorry, fellas.
don't apologize to me. Marley's going to be the one over there crying because they're going to be playing Renegade in the fourth quarter, and the Packers are up by 3 touchdowns. You know.
Hey, I'm calling it a big blowout game. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be about a 3 field goal game, 4 field goal game. I would love to see these fellas pull through and make it a bigger.
Are we hammering the
game.
Packers -3? I would love nothing more than for that to happen. Now both teams are playing really well. This is going to be a competitive game. I would think if the Packers were at home, they would have a better chance of winning by a couple field goals. I'm taking the Packers on the road here.
That doesn't really mean anything, though. That doesn't mean anything, even if they're home or not. I feel like it also is kind of an advantage for a lot of these teams, especially the Packers, just because even if they're not home, these fellas are ready to rock and rumble. You know, I feel like if they can kind of get their gameplay together, you know, and make a big turnout, I'd love to see that happen. I think that they will. I mean, look at how they've been playing, and look at their games that they've had.
Packers have been playing very well. I think.
I mean, granted, the Steelers have been playing well as well, but right now, looking at where they're at, I'd love to see them beat the Steelers. I'd love to say bye and walk out that damn door with the Steelers.
Bye. Love it. I'm taking the Packers too. All right, fellas, I'll let you duke it out.
Right,
I'll let you both duke it out now. Giving them Packers. Go Pack, go.
Fuck you.
I love my Packers. Bang, Packer gang.
Listen, I don't want to hear about any Packer, like Aaron Rodgers, former Packer bullshit. Okay. Now he plays for the Steelers. All right.
Oh, he's your
So-
quarterback now?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So he's not my quarterback yet, Max. All right. He plays for the Steelers. Okay. I didn't say he was my quarterback yet. Today, Max. Today,
I need some water.
If-
I'm gonna let y'all duke it out. I'll be right back.
if Aaron Rodgers can have the MVP type game, if he can win us this very fucking hard fought game, he will become my quarterback. Because he's got to play well today. He cannot give the Packers the ball. He cannot just willy-nilly throw that shit up into the middle of the field today and hope that, you know, he can't just keep pushing the ball to Metcalf. He's got to start feeding our tight ends. It's not play calling. I'm watching our film. I watch them every week. I'm the type of guy, I don't watch the other team when we're on the, like, I watch my team. I watch specific players whenever the play develops and they scan out with the camera. I focus in on certain people. Our tight ends, some of them are wide open, and he's just feeding the ball into Metcalf for these long-ass balls. They've got to start spreading it around a lot more. I know you got our stats on who our receivers are and who's leading us and blah, 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 blah. It just got to be a bit more productive. We've got to run the shit out of the ball today. And I know Josh Jacobs, my man, is going to come out and have a damn day against my defense because we have literally been a wet paper bag throughout the entire, like,
That's what it came down to for me.
last season and all of this season. It used to be unheard of for a team to rush for 100 yards against the Steelers. I don't give a shit who you have at running back. You're not going to do it. You can have Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and shit, I don't know, throw somebody else's ass in there for all three running backs on your team, and your ass still ain't getting 100 yards with them. I don't care. You're not going to do it. Not going to do it. Even put Lamar Jackson at quarterback. And what? What?
I was saying, let me ask you this: what's your take on Watson?
On
I
who?
think that's gonna.
Tom Watson?
You know, yeah.
Don't get me started.
Oh,
Don't think about Christian Watson.
crazy work.
But no. But anyways, fucking that's a whole nother story. Pizzle will hate me if I roast Deshaun Watson again. You can go back and watch
No,
our.
You got to worry about another
can
Watson
catch our-
today. You got to worry about Christian Watson today, not Deshaun Watson.
Oh, is that what you're talking about, Christian Watson? I mean,
I mean, sure, I was talking about him, but also, Sean, like, I don't know. I want to hear
No.
both your takes on that.
well,
what do
Christian
you
Watson.
have-
So my bad. I'm so focused on that one Watson in my life, like the Deshaun Watson bullshit.
Rent
But
free.
Christian Watson, I'm not really that, like, I'm concerned because he's coming back from an injury. So, yeah, he's probably rested. And I know we had a hell of a time against the Bengals covering their receivers. So I know that's a factor coming in today. And he's probably going to have a good – but you guys, the Packers are such a run-heavy team, though. That's the thing. They're such a run-heavy team. Even with good receivers, they're just a run-heavy team. And that's just how they are.
That's good.
And
Opens
that's
up the
always
pass
how
game.
they've been. And that's going to be the deciding factor today. Can my defense stop that damn Packer run game? And I think, honestly, like, at the end of the day, I think our secondary is not going to have too big of a problem with the Packer wideouts because, yeah, they're good, but we've got a pretty damn good back end. So,
Yeah,
and I know they've been
healthy.
getting cooked. They got cooked against the Bengals, but seriously though, not everybody has the Bengal receivers. There's a reason why, Jamar Chase who he is. There's a reason why T. Higgins is who he is. Like, those guys are they're just good. Not everybody is them. So it's not every day that you're going to run against a dual wideout threat like that. And they even have 3 and 4 receivers out there in Cincinnati that can get it done. So I think that, we've been rested. We're coming off 10 days here now. We ain't played. You know what I mean? We ain't played. So, I'm just saying, my boys better come out today and just, Rodgers, all I'm saying. You bet. See, I like how my camera just kind of zoomed in on me too when I said his damn name. if you win today, you will become my quarterback. Your ass better play good. You better not turn the ball over on some dumb shit. And just come out and play, my man. I'm glad you had things to good say about Green Bay, because I didn't want to hear you come out and just talk shit. You know, you did throw a couple zingers out there, like, yeah, I was out there winning dual MVP back-to-back seasons while Jordan Love was sitting on the bench. That's why you couldn't start him. And yeah, just facts. That's just facts, you know. But give me an MVP season here in Pittsburgh, damn it. You know, but yeah. All right, Max, the floor is yours.
Well,
Yeah, clear your
here we
throat.
are.
Make sure
Here-
your voice don't fucking crack during this segment.
Here we are, Marley.
Here we fucking.
are.
Hey, hold up, everybody. Hold up. I even offered if Max would buy his plane ticket, I would buy his ticket to this game if he flew to Pittsburgh this week and watched it with me.
I wish
But
I
he
could.
did.
Don't go to don't go to that don't go to that stadium. Don't go to that
If
stadium.
I could have,
It's
I
a trap.
absolutely would have.
It's a trap.
But anyways, let's continue on where we are, shall we?
Oh,
I agree with a good bit of your takes, Marley. Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers for the Steelers to win this game today, Aaron Rodgers is absolutely going to have to be a little bit of vintage Aaron Rodgers. And what I mean by that is because the Packers have a really good defensive line. They get after the quarterback. I mean, they have three guys that are really, really high up there in terms of not only sacks but total pressures as well. Now, obviously, right, some people like to brush off pressures and everything. Oh, it's not a real stat. All that matters is if you get to the quarterback. They don't realize that pressuring the quarterback affects the quarterback. You being in his face makes him have to make a throw sooner than he would like to before a receiver makes his break. Or it makes him throw a bad ball because he's worried about getting his ass hit. Or it makes him throw the ball away, when he could have had a receiver that might have broke open if he had just 0.5 more seconds, right, before that pressure got to him. So that's a very important stat, and that's why a lot of people are emphasizing pressures as much, because a lot of the times some people get held even though they're applying pressure. They can't get that sack because they're getting held.
Mhm.
For example,
TJ
TJ Watt,
Watt.
Miles Garrett, Marcus Parsons. These are guys that get held. I'd say probably at least 50% of their reps, and that doesn't get called. Those and again, that's just because of the type of players they are and the type of attention they're gonna draw. They're gonna draw the double teams. They're gonna draw the tight end chips. They're gonna draw the running back staying in on that side and picking up, helping out as well. They deserve that because of their level of play. My things today, my most intriguing matchups today to watch is going to be that Steelers O line versus that Packers D line. I think that's honestly the most important matchup of the day today is going to be that O line versus our D line.
Mhm.
And most importantly is how often they put their tackles on an island. And what I mean by that, which y'all know what I mean, is that means not having a tight end staying in.
Hold up. No. You see, we have applied what we call here in Pittsburgh the training wheels. Okay? So now, what you're going to see today, Max, and what everybody's seen today, or everybody's seen in the past 4 weeks, is 3 tight end sets out there on that line.
Yeah, and we
No
know
matter
he's going
what.
to get rid of the ball in 1.5 seconds. The problem is the Packers have the DBs to be able to stop those quick little plays. That's what it's going to come down to too.
I get that, but I'm saying your little defensive line today is a non-factor because we just have the training wheels. We got 3 of the biggest tight ends in the NFL on the edge of the line helping block. That's why none of the pass rushers, none of the elite pass rushers we faced this season have been a factor. Myles Garrett was not even mentioned during that game. Got blanked by a rookie because the rookie helped from a tight end.
Yeah, it took 3 guys to block him.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's not a rookie blanking him though. That's a rookie and a tight end blanking him. That's two.
Well, so
people
that's what
blanking
Micah
him.
Parsons is going to get today.
That's absolutely fine. But the Steelers having 3 tight ends on the field limits them absolutely offensively because all you can have then is at most 1 or maybe 2 receivers depending on the formation.
And we get Calvin Austin back today, baby.
So all you have is slants and quick curls to throw when you have 3 tight end sets because if you're keeping in them blocking, who's all running routes?
You got Calvin Austin. You got Calvin Austin. You got Metcalf. And then once those tight ends catch their blocks and they chip off that end, and the tackle's able to pick him up after that. The tight end's released into the pass, and then you got 3 big ass chunks of meat out there to throw the ball to after that. And that's why the ball comes out in 1.2 seconds or whatever the hell it is, because they go out and they run a 5-yard and then they catch that shit. Nobody's around them, and then they run forever. Bam! Today we get Calvin Austin back.
Like I said, we're gonna see how effective that game plan is. Because unlike the Browns and unlike some of the other teams, not only do we have a good defensive line, we have arguably one of the better linebacker cores in the NFL in Adrian Cooper and Quay Walker. Not only that, we have arguably one of the better safety rooms in the NFL in Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams. Not to mention, our corners, while they have been pretty bad in zone coverage, have been pretty damn good in man coverage. So if we start running a little bit more man today, lining up, putting those people bodies on bodies, matchups on matchups, you can block. They can chip in and block, but their man's going to stay right there with them. And as soon as they break out for their route, guess what? He's on them smothered like gravy on biscuit.
Bro.
So let me just tell you here.
Bro.
Like they're going to do a little bit more than those quick passes today, Marley. I have to say.
And the Steelers be effective in their 3 tight end formations in terms of being able to move the ball effectively and efficiently, not just 4 yards, 5 yards, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you can play 4 or 5 yards on the Packers, but the Packers aren't going to 4 and 5 yard you. All right? Jordan Love, like I was saying, that's why I was telling when MP was bringing up, excuse me, whenever he was bringing up, yards per attempt and everything like that, who leads this, and that's why I was saying, I think it could be Jordan Love, but I don't think his QB rating is up there, but I know his yards per attempt is. He's averaging 8.2 yards per attempt. Drake May's averaging 8.6 to give you a notice of what he's leading. It's at 8.6. Jordan Love has averaged over 7 yards an attempt pretty much every season he started. So since he's taken over, he's averaged over 7 yards an attempt. He's one of those ethical quarterbacks that he's going to throw it deep. He's going to take his shots. Like I said, he is a mix of Rodgers and Favre. A lot of Rodgers, and even some of the people that's coached there will tell you when you look at Jordan Love play, if you watch his feet and the way he bounces around, the way he sets, the way he plants and throws, it looks just like Aaron Rodgers. Like if you watch that today, Marley, and I know you say you like to watch your players. But watch a couple reps of Jordan Love and him and Aaron Rodgers, and when they catch that ball in their shotgun formation, and they do their drop back, the way they bounce, the way they sit, it's almost identical. And that's one major thing that's made Jordan Love a lot better. And he's even said that is that his footwork was not where it needed to be when he first came into the league. He needed to get his footwork right. He needed to get his hips right. He needed to get his body movement right. And he started to do that, and he's gotten it a lot better.
Bro.
So he's going to be throwing the football pretty deep. He's going to be attacking that secondary and them corners pretty often. And getting Christian Watson back is going to make it even more so because we have 2 of the fastest receivers in the National Football League on our team today.
Yep.
Matthew Golden and Christian Watson. Not to mention Christian Watson being 6'4". When he's on the field, I think it was last year, maybe the year before. I can't remember exactly what year. Whenever the numbers with Christian Watson in terms of yards per play, like yards per attempt per play as a team, like how many yards we get per play, was down like 2 to 3 yards with Christian Watson on the field compared with him off the field. With him in motion and now Golden in motion and them being able to go deep, and now we still got Romeo Doubs and Tucker Kraft for the middle open field. We still got Wicks who's still there. It's going to test that Steelers secondary. There's so many playmakers that they've got to account for. You can shake your head all you want, buddy. But the fact remains that the Steelers are in for a fight today. And it's going to depend on their offense on whether they can put up a fight or not. Because I'm telling you, if you get behind 14, 15 points to the Packers, you're playing catch up, and then you're not running those 3 tight end sets no more because you've got to have more bodies out running routes. And now you're putting your offensive line one-on-one with one of the best defensive lines in football.
Homie, no.
We'll see. We'll see.
No.
Look, I'm trying to make logical football point here without just saying the
I'm
Steelers
well
were
aware.
beating the shit
Well
out of
aware.
y'all. Okay,
I'm well
because I
aware.
could do that.
I'm well
But like
aware.
I said, the Steelers
But
can
you are
absolutely
coming
win this
in.
game today. I'm not saying they
You are,
can't. They have a lot of good strengths, like you said. They do run a lot of tight end formations, which do neutralize a lot of good defensive line. It did Miles get into the Browns, and it really helped them out. And if their defense can slow the Packers down and make the Packers get into a slug fight type of game, then yes, that favors the Steelers absolutely. Because,
dude.
excuse me, because we rely on our D line a lot to get quick pressures, to get a lot of sacks, to disrupt the pocket. So if we're getting that knockout drag out and we're getting our best players double, triple teams, and the ball's getting out in 1.5 seconds, and these guys are taking it for 5, 6, 7 yards every play, and we're not turning around on offense, and scoring points or sustaining drives either, then yes, that's absolutely going to cause an issue. Like I said though, this is going to take a very good game from Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
But like I said, he has not been playing bad. He's completing almost 70% of his passes. He's got a 14-5 touchdown to interception ratio. He's played really well, and that's the thing that I really which I think you're starting to see a little bit more of it now. But I know where you're coming from. You want to see the big moments, the big games. Who gives a shit what he does against a 1-5 team, right? Like, let's see what he does against a playoff team. Let's see what he does when it matters the
I'm
most.
very excited to watch
And I
this
agree
game.
with you, my man. And I absolutely agree with you because that's how I am too. And Aaron Rodgers can do that. But that's why I was trying to tell you, a couple weeks back, you got to remember, he's like 41 years old. He's just 1 year removed from a major injury. He's, just joined the team like a month before the season started or however short it was. It's going to take him some time to develop into that. It's going to take him some time to get comfortable again because you got to think, when quarterbacks are already kind of skittish in the pocket, right? Especially on their blind side in terms of not knowing if they're going to get hit or not. So when you don't trust your offensive linemen because you don't really know them, you haven't seen them, like him and David Bakhtiari for those years on the Packers, right? He knew without a doubt David Bakhtiari was locking his guy down over the occasional mishap, right? He knew that. And when you have that type of trust with your offensive line, that confidence allows you not to have your eyes, scanning, looking if someone broke free. Your eyes are downfield. Your eyes is worried about seeing if someone can break open. So Aaron Rodgers, like I said, has a young offensive line. He's still getting used to them. He's still meshing with them. So there's a lot of trust there. So I'm curious to see if he starts getting pressured early, how often he maybe tries to bail a little bit or throws the ball away or tries to make quick checks and more quick reads. But I think you're going to have to take some shots today. I don't think you're going to be able to dunk and dive and nickel and dive the Packers today and win the football. I think we're going to have to see Aaron Rodgers push the field downfield to DK Metcalf, to Calvin Austin. I think you're going to have to try to hit one of those big tight ends down the seam, to get 15, 16 yards on a big second down or third down. Aaron Rodgers is absolutely capable of making that, dude. Like I said, he's still one of the best throwers of the football in the National Football League at 40 years old. His lower half is just kind of washed because of his age and the injuries history. If you had Rodgers, I even say this, if Rodgers didn't tear his ACL while he still wasn't as mobile his last 2 MVP seasons as he was, he could still move around and extend and make plays. Then he got that injury, and it's like he can't do it no more, right? Like he looks like it's kind of awkward to him.
Good
But
stuff.
again,
Good
this
stuff.
is a very big emotional game, bro. And if this was at Lambeau, it'd be even more emotional. But this is the first time Aaron Rodgers has ever played the Packers. I mean, this is his quote unquote revenge game, which he even said it's not a revenge game. He's got a lot of love for us. He's got a lot of memories and experience with the Packers.
It was nice to see
But
him.
but knowing who Rodgers is, Rodgers has always been that guy that fed on like that chip on his shoulder, who fed on that, I'm gonna fucking show you, I'm gonna prove to you, you're wrong. And that's kind of where those 2 MVP seasons came from after we drafted Love, right? It was okay, bet. He won 2 MVPs, balled out, 2 of his best seasons statistically in his career.
It was very nice to see
So
Rodgers
like I said,
share moments
the
with the
keys, a lot of the
Packers media
keys
too.
today for this game is going to be the O-lines in the trenches. This game in the trenches is going to be the most important battle for sure. And then the second, like I said, is going to be whether the Steelers can move the ball vertically downfield more consistently instead of just diving, hoping someone can make a big play and tackle. And can the Steelers secondary corral all the speed that the Packers are going to have today. Because, like I said, this is the first time we're going to have Matthew Golden and Christian Watson on the field today. And I'm very excited to see how Matt LaFleur gets created with this in terms of like the motion, the jet sweeps, and everything like that.
Good stuff, guys. Sunday Night Football, Packers, Steelers. Very excited to watch this game. One game to go, and then we'll do our we'll make some bets. How's that sound? Which was set up to be a good matchup. Unfortunately, our poor Jaden Daniels has been going through the injury bug this season. 3-4 Commanders taking on the 4-3 Chiefs at Arrowhead. I'm so sick of watching the Chiefs in primetime, bro. I'm really sick of it. Chiefs 11.5 point favorites in this game. I do think Washington makes it a game early just because, Washington still has some pretty good playmakers over there. They've been playing pretty well with Mariota and at quarterback, but they're in Arrowhead. I got to take the Chiefs here. Marley.
Commanders.
All right.
The Chiefs are washed.
I'm taking the Chiefs here. I'm going to take the Chiefs because now I know it is tomorrow, right? And we kind of make these picks with a grain of salt sometimes because we know stuff can happen in terms of the injuries report and all that changing up. But I know as of now, Jaden Daniels isn't playing. Marcus Mariota is.
But they got all their receivers back, bro. All of them.
I know they do, and I know he's been doing well. But I mean, the Commanders are 3-5 in their last 5, and the Chiefs are 4-1 in their last 5. So I'm just like I said, I think the momentum right now is with the Chiefs. They got their receivers back. They're getting a little healthy, while the Commanders are banged up. They're not. They haven't had a consistent 2-week stretch where they had the majority of their playmakers. I don't think this entire season. Plus, like I said, it's hard to win at Arrowhead. It really is. I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, I saw something about their record since Patrick Mahomes took over at Arrowhead. It's pretty insane.
Liv, Commanders, Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Who you got?
Chiefs.
Okay.
Chiefs. Yup.
Let's get into some bets. All right, Marley, we smacked the parlay last week.
Cooked it.
Couple actually. We won our. Let me scroll back to. I just had it up. I have to scroll back to it real quick. We hit our. I'm sorry about that. We had put together a 3-leg parlay. We bagged the Seahawks money line, Giants plus 10.5 versus the Broncos, and the Patriots money line. So that was a nice little bet there at plus 232. We hit our touchdown parlay. We put a buck down.
That was a big pay.
Put a buck down for Tyler Warren, Kayshon Boutte, and Bo Nix to score touchdowns at plus 47.30. How about that?
We got $1. And we won $46. Let's go.
48.30.
Oh, even better. Let's go. Almost $50 off. That's how you bet money. You bet a little bit. You bet $1 and you win big.
Yeah,
don't give me that.
Those,
bet $3 and win 5.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you got to do those too. Those are builders, Marley. Those are builders. We love a good builder, especially in the Overs Club. You know that. But I know what you're saying.
I know.
So let's put.
I like catching that bag, baby.
Let's put down a touchdown bet. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna kind of stretch out a little bit here, but a player that's been playing really well. I think he gets one today. I'm going Tez Johnson, wide receiver, Tampa Bay at plus 280.
I'm gonna go with Terry McLaurin.
I think he's out. Still,
he just came back. They all came back. Look him up.
Yeah, all right.
I do believe
he's there plus 290. Huh? He's there plus 290. That's actually that's probably the best value you're ever gonna get for him. You like Scary Terry?
Yeah, man, because he just came back. He's playing and they're playing in Arrowhead. They're gonna have to do something today. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm picking the Commanders, bro. They got all their weapons back. I know that Daniels is still hurt, but Mariota is not a bad backup, man. He's really not. and they can make some plays with that kid.
I just
They've been keeping it going. So
I just
we'll
worry with
see.
that Chiefs defense, but I'm in.
Yeah,
Let's go. Max, you got a touchdown better for
Yes,
for these games?
sir. I'm going with one of my Packers, baby. Give me Tucker Kraft to score a touchdown today.
I love it.
Oh,
No.
that's a good one.
Tucker
fucker.
It's
Kraft.
all cheese, baby.
Liv,
All
you
right,
got a
Liv.
pick?
Yep, you got a touchdown scorer for today. One of your fantasy football players, maybe that could use a touchdown to help your team out this week.
Let's see. Give me a quick sec.
No problem.
Shit, I don't think I have any for the Packers. Yeah, no, I don't got any for the Packers as far as that goes, but
That's okay. As long as if it's
Yeah.
another player that you think that will score.
shit. I don't know. I don't know who can I just throw out my cousin and see if he makes a big play?
Yep.
You could do that.
Aaron Rodgers for a rushing touchdown today. Fuck.
Come on, AA Ron.
What's up?
Say, come on, AA Ron. Let's do a thing or two, my boy.
That's so
Let me-
painful.
Let me see if he's a I don't. They don't even.
He might
they
not
don't-
be
They don't. Yeah,
available.
they don't have him listed.
Yep, I didn't think so.
Oh shit.
They don't do that type of shit no more.
It's all good. That's all right. We can leave it 3 legs.
Got you.
3-leg touchdown boost. Ooh, plus $44.99 will leave us at $1 for $45.99.
Let's go.
Locking in. Dunzo. There we go. All right. Tej Johnson, Terry McLaurin, Tucker Kraft. $1.45.99.
Not bad, not bad.
You know, normally, so we would come in here and maybe throw a 3-leg parlay together for like money lines, over unders, or like spreads. I'm gonna put one together, but I think I'm gonna stay away this week. I think I'm gonna bet lightly. I think I'm gonna just do like a 2-leg on my own here. I don't.
Games are too damn close this week.
These games are weird. It's a very weird week, so I think we just stick with the touchdown lay. How about that? How's that sound?
Everything's like 2 to 3 points away. It's stupid.
One last thing, we didn't give our lock of the week. For the ESPN Survivor pool, I took the Bills this week.
I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Okay.
I'm going Bills on that.
Okay. Max.
I'm gonna go Bears. Probably the only time I'll ever
What?
pick them.
If I'm not
What the hell just
mistaken,
happened today?
I think
Reverse psychology. I picked them and they lose.
Max took the Bears. Max took the Bears in week 4, and they won against the Raiders.
Wow. I think that like Max, you all right today, bro?
Picking the Bears twice in a season. Love to see it.
My mind is focused on the Steelers.
Everybody, appreciate you joining us and taking some time on the show today to talk a little family and share your family history and what you do. And we appreciate you being on the show. You are welcome anytime. Join Peace of Mind Sports Podcast
Thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate it.
at any time.
Thank you for coming, Liv.
Yeah, thank you.
Boys,
Oh,
good luck
Max.
this week.
I'm gonna roast your ass tonight.
Can't wait to hear all about it. I'm gonna go grab some lunch. Get some
Are you
things
not gonna watch
going.
the game with us?
I don't know.
Yeah, you should. I mean, why not? You think about it this way,
What else
Fizzle.
are you gonna be
This could be a
doing?
good
I
time
didn't
for
know you
you to
guys were
hop
watching
in
it. I didn't
and
know you guys were watching
listen and stir the pot with me and Marley.
I mean, that's just peace of mind history right there. That's what we do.
Let's
best,
say,
right?
wouldn't that just be fun for you, right? Get in, just troll me and Marley for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you're
able
gonna be
talk
watching
about
the
how
game
we-
anyway.
how
They
my
better
team-
wrap this game
my
up by
team
like
will-
11, though. Like, come on now.
Bro,
Yeah, I think it
I'll
was. It
be
starts
up.
what, 8 y'all's time?
Yeah, I'll be up.
8:20 is kickoff. It'll be over by
tomorrow.
11:30.
I'm off tomorrow, so I can be up a little late.
You bastard.
Appreciate everybody hanging out with us today. We're going to wrap up the show. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Peace out.
You know.
Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go.